Tons of news coming out with 12.0.5's release. A lot of it negative on all the bugs and everything. There are some fixes. I'm going to tell you today what's still broken, what Blizzard has fixed already. Also, class DPS updates. Believe it or not, we have a look into how the changes have affected everyone's classes. Prices of WoW subs going up and other news here. So let's just go and dive straight in. Here we go. Bugs pervaded 12.0.5's release. Unfortunately, they did, and it's kind of taken over as the story of the patch, which is kind of sad because honestly, the ritual sites I found to be a pretty cool thing. I actually found those to be fun as we got into those. The avoid incursions I mentioned earlier, they're all right. They're just another world event. It almost feels like pre-patch content, like that's what it should have been. But they're fine for what they are. Overall, I think the stuff that's come with this patch is pretty good for a 0.5 patch, but because of all these bugs and all the shit that's gone down, kind of left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. But so let me break down here what's still broken and what has been found here. So growing frustration over the patch bugs in 12.0.5. We talked about a bunch of this shit. Mythic bonus rolls, those were broken. We'll talk about that shit going forward. Previously saw bugs for crest losses during crafting. That bug resurfaced, so people lost crests again. Critical bugs on the Lura fight. We talked about this yesterday. She was basically wiping everybody because you couldn't pop that defensive shield to stop her from killing everyone. A reduction in prey traps. This one's still not being talked about a lot, but people have noticed that there are less prey traps during the prey events, which is what people used a lot of times to complete the prey hunts and stuff like that. There's just less traps out there. Blizzard didn't really tell people that was going to happen, so people are wondering if this is a bug or this was a game designed by Blizzard. Recent interviews where Ian Hazzikostas talked about how they're really focusing on quality to make sure that patches don't drop in a bad state. Well, you know, that interview's kind of fallen flat right now. People don't believe in Blizzard anymore. They think this is probably going to keep happening. We're just going to have to accept that patch release days are going to be really bad. But going forward, class bugs for specific classes. Unholy Decay's issues with Commander of the Dead has been fixed, so that's good. Preservation Evoker. The preservation community has determined that stasis is no longer capturing or duplicating Dream Breath, so that's still an issue that hasn't been fixed yet. For Holy Paladin, there's been a report of 2 bugs. One appears to be that Holy Armaments causes major FPS drops. That is weird. So affecting game performance, and this happens when players happens so often that players have to change specs and then back into Holy in order to fix it. And the second bug seems to be missing damage hotfix. Missing damage hotfix was added in 12.0.1, which buffed Holy Paladin, causing this spec to do less damage. So it looks like a previous fix is now a second has been unfixed again. So there's some weird stuff going on there. Mistweaver Monk. It looks like it's been reported that Mistweaver for talents randomly being disabled, including Refresh, Uplift Spirits, Unity Within, and Cryosalis. So be careful with that. It is unclear what causes this and its effects on Mythic Plus. So be careful with your talents being disabled. That's a weird one. Devour Demon Hunter. It looks like part of it's been fixed, but the other Devour is also generating 18 Fury instead of 10 Fury. So that seems like a bug that's actually buffing them. So we'll look at some of the damage right now for them because Devour is absolutely cranking. Windwalker Monk Zenith Stomp benefits for mastery, but does not contribute as a unique spell to keep it going. So doing X, then Stomp, then X will drop the mastery hit / combo. So it looks like Zenith Stomp just isn't working properly, and its combo that is supposed to happen is not occurring. Also, buffs are randomly disappearing from the CDM unless you default back to your base profile and try again. And then finally for Restoration Shaman, they only get a 15% damage increase, even though the notes say they're supposed to get 30% damage increase. So they haven't gotten the buff that they were supposed to get. Good morning, Codisi. How's it going? So a lot of broken shit here with some of these classes. It looks like Blizzard is, though, chucking through the list and fixing a lot of these. So we'll keep positive and assume that a lot of these are going to be fixed by the end of the week here. Decor Duels has a little issue here where it turns out that if you're really good at hiding, you're getting punished, and the Trek Humanoids feature is still enabled for hunters. So if you played this Decor Duel and some hunter was finding everybody within 30 seconds, well, you know why. It's because they turned on track humanoids, and unfortunately, Blizzard didn't have the foresight to see that they were going to be able to see everybody with this feature. So this is the track abilities have been a thing in WoW since fucking Classic with Hunters, and nobody at Blizzard HQ realized that, oh yeah, if they turn on track humanoids, they're going to be able to see everyone on their mini-map. So yeah, that's an unfortunate one. Blizzard's going to have to disable that for them. And then, as I said before, hiding really, really good. Evidently, being inactive at your keyboard and just staying in one spot and never being found for the entire Decor duel was ruining people's endgame score, because they didn't move enough. So people haven't realized this, or this is a bug, that you're supposed to be moving around. Like, the more you move around as a piece of decor / not get found, the better your score is going to be. So this is a weird one. Again, not sure if this is a bug or this is just a scoring feature that Blizzard failed to mention to us. As far as things that have been fixed, okay? Things have been fixed. Blizzard's working on shit. Player housing has been re-enabled. That's right. We had, yesterday, we had a whole funeral for player housing. RIP, it lasted from 26 to 26. So, player housing is back, though. It is once again a feature that you can engage with. Blizzard had disabled the entirety of player housing because some kind of game-breaking bug had occurred. Not sure what it was, but it's back. Yeah, I said it was deleted. I did say player housing was deleted. Technically, it was. But that shit's back, so they copy-pasted back in. So there you go, player housing's back. If you want to get into that shit, you can. And Blizzard also confirms that bonus rolls are working, okay? So bonus rolls, one of the big features of 12.0.5, it's supposed to have the ability to not roll the same item again. Once you get a certain item from the list of items that you could possibly get on a bonus roll, it's supposed to be removed so you don't get that same item again. Well, yesterday, a lot of people were getting duplicate items. Unfortunately, that shit wasn't working. Blizzard has confirmed that it is now working. So my whole thing yesterday about telling people, hey, be careful with your bonus rolls, don't use them yet. You can use them now safely. If you trust Blizzard, you can now use them safely, so that's good. In terms of bonus rolls, you're supposed to get 2 per week, right? You can get 2 per week, but the thing is, there is a third bonus roll, and I've talked about this already, that you can actually get every week, and that has to do with your vault. So getting 2 per week, you either spend gold, Voidlight Marl, or Veteran Crest to get those things. 2 each week will give you 1 bonus roll in Raid or 2 bonus rolls on Mythic Plus content. But if you instead of taking your anything from your vault, right? If you have like a row of 3, whatever 3 spots you filled out on your vault, instead of taking any of those items, you can go for the 6 coins, right? You can use those Thalassian tokens to buy another a reroll, basically. So getting 3 of those instead of 2 every week, and that doesn't count towards your cap. So yes, you can have 3 at a time. So every week you can do the same thing. Go for maybe 1 raid item and a Mythic Plus item, or 3 Mythic Plus items. However you want to play that out, you can go ahead and use them. So this is a pretty big thing, honestly, making bad vaults really no longer that bad, because you're essentially getting another bonus roll on an item. So I already talked about this many times, but this is a really good thing. And I think it just makes, the bad vault feelings not as bad as they were previously. For ritual sites, I actually had fun doing these yesterday. So there's a bunch of quests. If you didn't know this, picking up these quests, I missed it initially when I first went to the first ritual site, and then everyone in chat was telling me, hey, you idiot, go back to silver, I'm going to pick up the quest. So there's a little hub area for these quests. Make sure you're picking them up as you turn in, or as more and more come, because these are the ways that you're unlocking all of these different affixes. So there are ways to unlock a bunch of them. Some of them are just completed the previous rank. Rank 3 gives you the rank 4 ritual sites and gives you another unlock. But unlocking all of these things, it's a really good idea. It's going to enable you to eventually do that rank 5 with 4 affixes attached. That'll give you that piece of 269 item level gear, which is pretty big right now in your vault. So yeah, going through these things, I found ritual sites to be pretty enjoyable yesterday. I had fun with them. We made a group of 5, and we're just pumping through them. We went up to rank 3. We're going to do 4 and 5 today. I just ran out of time yesterday to actually finish those out. So we'll get these done today. But definitely, getting all these affixes this week should be doable for a lot of people. Just go out and get them, and this you'll be able to fill out that vault slot real quickly every single week by doing a rank 5 with 4 of these affixes attached. An easy W, an easy way to get a piece of 269 gear from your vault. Okay, let's look at the charts real quick, because we had a bunch of class changes go into effect, and the ones that aren't broken are working pretty well. That's especially for Devour Demon Hunter. So let's look at these charts real quick. Now, we did talk about Devour having a bit of an extra buff here, so maybe this shit's going to change. But right now, looking at these two charts, we can see the difference between 1 and 2, and this is your current chart for this is at least 50 people doing raid, okay? Looking at the parses and everything else, this is insane. Devour Demon Hunter is like 10% ahead of everybody else on the charts right now. I feel like they're going to get nerfed. Obviously, we talked about maybe the brokenness of the buff that they were supposed to get, so this is extreme. We don't usually see one class this far ahead. But the crazy thing is, just below them is their brethren, the Havoc Demon Hunters. Havoc Demon Hunters have also shot up the charts here in 12.0.5. So they're looking freaking great. Overall, right now, if you're a Demon Hunter and you're doing DPS, you're pumping. Survival Hunter just below them. Then we got Balanced Druid, Windwalker Monk, Demonology Warlock, Frost Mage. Also, Frost Mage fell off a little bit with these recent changes, but I think they're still a really good DPSer, and it's still very viable. They're probably still going to be part of the meta here. Looking out from that, Outlaw Rogue, Shadow Priest, Retribution Paladin, Devastation Evoker, and Augmentation Evoker there, both taking up the middle right next to each other. There isn't much difference between Devastation and Augmentation, so whichever one you pick, you're probably going to do around the same numbers there if you're good at both. Fire Mage, Enhancement Shaman, Sub-Titty Rogue, Feral Druid, Fury Warrior, or Furry Warrior as I like to call him, Elemental Shaman, Ass Rogue, Destro Warlock, Frost Death Knight, Arms Warrior, Bestiality Hunter, Affliction Warlock, Unholy Death Knight, Marksmanship Hunter, and at the very bottom here, Arcane Mage. I mean, I don't think anyone's playing Arcane Mage right now. I'll be honest, I haven't seen an Arcane Mage in the game in freaking forever. So that's your current list. Now, this is very early. We'll look at these at the end of the week to see really how people played out, but this is probably the earliest data we've seen so far, and pretty significant changes. I mean, the move here for Devastation Evoker, Devour Demon Hunter, absolutely insane. And then Havoc Demon Hunter moving up the chart as far as they did too. That's a pretty big move for them. So Demon Hunter's eating well right now, for sure. Other than that, we've got some gritty news to talk about here, guys. The brethren out there in the UK, Kazakhstan, Georgia, not the state, the country, and Turkey, not the food, the country, are seeing a rise in their WoW subs, unfortunately for them. For Britain, it's just £1 British pound, so not a huge deal. About $12 overall for your year. So I don't think people are going to unsub over that. I don't know what the conversion rates of all these other, currencies are. But here are the changes right now happening for them. These will go live on June 22nd, 2026. You'll see these changes in your sub prices. I don't know what they're going to do with sub prices going forward. With inflation and everything else the way it is, I don't know, does the Strait of Hormuz affect sub prices? I have no idea. We got to have that shit opened up again so we get our sub prices down. Who knows? But so far, I feel like Blizzard's been able to keep sub prices relatively stable because of, believe it or not, things like Hearthsteel and all the other Decor shit on the store and all the WoW store items have offset kind of the, the inflationary prices of what would be happening to a sub if it was the only thing Blizzard charged. Because Blizzard charges us in so many different ways now, I feel like that's why we've been able to keep a stable sub for the most part. Hopefully that shit stays stable. Right now, in the US, we pay about $15 a month for this shit, so I wouldn't want to see this shit go up. But yeah, unfortunately, these countries did. And speaking of other countries, we got to talk one more time about this one here. China's WoW shit is just unbelievable. So China gets this new Crimson Tide Treasure Hunt event, a Chinese exclusive Venthyr mystery box promotion. Now, China here, China gets a bunch of mystery box shit, but look at these fucking mounts and stuff they're getting. I mean, some crazy content they're going to get out here. Yes, a lot of this is gained through mystery boxes. They get a freaking Crimson, but it's like a pinkified version of the Crimson mount here. A badass looking transmog. A lot of this stuff was data mined, and we were wondering where this was going to go. Oh my god, look at that fucking Decor item. What the shit? Oh! They got the freaking Pirates of the Caribbean piano. Okay. Some crazy stuff coming for them. China gets some crazy shit. They're still playing like kind of catch-up mode right now to get caught up in terms of lore for the 2 years that they were gone, but yeah, China, again, getting W's that we're not seeing here in the U.S. or any other countries. I would love to see some of these items eventually show up around us. That Venthyr mount that they showed first, pretty freaking badass. This is some classic stuff that they're also getting. So plenty of stuff coming in this event for them. Again, this is loot box shit. which would never fly really in like a lot of other countries, like the North American, Western world shit. We're not into the loot box way of things. And also a lot of these countries have made shit like loot boxes illegal. So we won't ever see these things in terms of loot boxes, but I hope we eventually see these items specifically on trading posts. I'm sure they'll fucking put it on the WoW. This mount is fucking insane. It'll probably end up on the fucking WoW store at some point. But badass looking stuff. We'll see what else happens. I thought some of this shit was going to be related to Shadowlands Remix and stuff. Maybe we get Shadowlands Remix still and we get some of these items. Who knows? But really freaking cool stuff for China. I'm kind of jealous. And for today, that is all in terms of news.